We all want to be acknowledged for the hard work that we put in and for the efforts that we have done to go above and beyond. When we are competing with others for what could potentially be a life-changing opportunity, we expect that we will be judged fairly and based on our merits. Well, that hasn't been the case for a while now in places of business, education, and now it seems beauty pageants. Now, I'm not one that ever looked at beauty pageants as some beacon of hope for women or something that every young woman should aspire to be in. But I do think that they have their place. And I do think that the young ladies that worked hard to be in these competitions deserve to be treated with respect because they worked hard to get there. I also know that not all pageants are created equal. A lot of these pageants are not necessarily beauty pageants in the typical physical beauty sense. My niece was in a small local pageant, and I know how much work was put into that. So on a larger scale, I could see that pressure and work is only amplified. But by the way so many people have reacted to this recent story, you would think that there is a new category that slipped in between the talent and evening wear competitions that may come as a surprise. Fad acceptance. Yeah, that's a new category for 2024. If you've been keeping up with the online frenzy about the story of a young lady named Sara Milliken who won the title of Miss Alabama, you would have seen outrage from people like Candace Owens and many others. But the thing is, these outraged people didn't do their research. Miss Milliken actually did not win the title of Miss Alabama. She won the title of Miss National American Alabama. This is a very different title from Miss Alabama, and is from a local contest called National American Miss. Everyone can relax now, because this means she is not representing Alabama in the Miss USA pageant, like so many news outlets and social media influencers have reported, most likely to drum up hysteria for clicks and views. Now that we have the facts straight, I wanted to give my opinion on the situation based entirely on the facts and not on some made-up hyperbole. So, there are different types of pageants, and some of those pageants are judged differently, depending on the pageant. This particular pageant states that they focus on communication skills and confidence, highlighting personal growth, public speaking, and community service. Nowhere in there did they say that they judged anyone based on their appearance in a swimsuit, their level of fitness, or that they would be judged based on their perceived beauty. It seems entirely reasonable to me that this young lady could beat out all of the other contestants based on being judged in this particular pageant's categories. So for people to go online and attack her for her win and bully her across social media and national news is actually disgusting to me. A lot of these people have huge platforms and didn't even bother to do the research about the pageant. It's sad when most news outlets and social media influencers have no idea that they were actually incorrectly reporting on the pageant and the title that she has actually won. It's ironic that the ones railing against this poor young lady preach personal responsibility, yet couldn't even do the research to get their own facts straight. And that bothers me. There are small channels I watch on YouTube that actually go out of their way to make sure that they double check and triple check things that they say on here, because they know what a big responsibility it is to have any type of a platform. And I know this channel is about weight loss and personal responsibility, but I will also call out the bullying of people who do not deserve it. Just because this young lady is obese, it does not mean she shouldn't still be able to put on makeup, put on a pretty dress, and have a day where she feels good about herself. Let's stop ruining things for people. Tarnishing her moment is not going to be some epiphany for her that makes her change. You might have come here thinking that I was going to pile on the same things that others have said. That she didn't deserve to win. She was given a participation trophy. She is setting a bad example for women, and so on. But I'm no bully, and I can see nuance in things. I've been bullied as a kid myself, and I do not tolerate it, especially when it comes from a place of misinformation, and especially when it comes from people who have never been in the shoes of an obese person. Being obese does not mean someone can't be an asset to their community, or that they are unable to inspire others to be better people. I want everyone to lose weight, and to be as healthy as they can be. I wish that for Miss Milliken. But I also believe that you can still be celebrated as being a good person without losing 1 single pound. If I'm being honest, I would bet money there are a lot more average-looking people doing good things for the world than what beautiful people are doing. I also wanted to respond to a few of Candace Owens' comments.
Just being given these participation trophies, and there's no greater example of that than learning. I could not believe this. Miss Alabama.
Okay, she's confused about learning about Miss Milliken winning Miss Alabama, and she should be confused about that because she did not win Miss Alabama. So yeah, I guess she would be confused about that, which is my whole point. Like, this is the issue that I have with a lot of these social media influencers. It's the hyperbole and the inflaming of this anger that they try to do, and it's just so irritating and annoying, and it's very I don't know, I guess it's on brand for certain influencers, but it's just very disingenuous, and she did not win Miss Alabama, so let's just put it at that.
Is Sara Milliken, and she was recently crowned the winner of the Alabama National American Miss Pageant, which now entitles her to represent the state of Alabama at the national level.
Okay, so she got the name of the pageant correct, and she is representing Alabama on the national level for that particular pageant, not at Miss USA or Miss America. It is a completely different type of pageant. So she did not, of course, explain that because she needs to get her fan base angry, at the fact that, this woman is now going to represent, Alabama in Miss USA or Miss America, which is definitely not going to be happening.
Okay, so right away, obviously, you look at her, and I want to be really clear. I am not ever meaning to insult her as a person, right? What I actually would like to insult is the pageant itself, because it is very obvious that they picked her for one particular reason, and that particular reason is woke.
Can we stop with that word already? I mean, that word is so played out and so old. It's the most. You could just stop with the word woke already. It just dates you so badly. You can get your point across without using the word woke, and I think that there is, and I'm not saying anything bad about Candace Owens. There's actually quite a few things that I agree with her on, and there's quite a few things I don't agree with her on, as with any political commenter or commentator. On both sides, I really don't agree with anything, or most of them. But, she is insulting her and I think that the biggest insult is the fact that she did not research what she's actually won, and she did not research what the pageant is actually for. And the pageant is actually not a beauty pageant. And like I said earlier, the pageant is more about community service and about public speaking. And there isn't any reason why an obese person couldn't do any of those things. So, I don't understand what she's railing about.
We can appeal to anybody. You actually don't have to be the best at anything. We just want to be the best at handing out participation trophies. And that's not to say that, oh my gosh, if you are, a clinically obese person, you should be chased out of society. It is just to say that we recognize that when you enter in certain competitions, you should be in that competition because you are able to compete in a variety of skills. When we are looking to be.
And so she was able to compete in those skills, the skills that were laid out by the competition. So I'm not sure, again, well, obviously she did not read what the competition was for. So she's obsessed with this whole thing being a beauty pageant, which it is not. There's pageants for all types of things. So I think she's just obsessed with this whole thing being a beauty pageant, and it's not even that she's obsessed with it. She is pushing the whole narrative so that way her audience is upset about it, and in that way she gets more clicks and views, which, good for her. She has 1.5 million subscribers, so it's obviously working for you. So maybe I should try that too.
Beauty pageants, right? We are looking to examining what is the person that I am looking at, and I believe that she represents beauty.
And again, like I just said, the pageant is not about representing beauty. There's many pageants in the United States, and I don't know, probably in other countries as well, that represent beauty. And this particular one is not one of them. My niece happened to be in one as well that was not 100% about beauty either. It was more about, and they didn't even know that the girls that were in the competition didn't really have any idea of what was going on in the background, but they were actually being judged from the time that they started in the competition in the background to the end. And it was about like how they worked with the other girls, how their teamwork was, and they were judged more on the background things than they were on the actual beauty aspect of it. And it was for younger girls, so it wasn't anything that that was crazy like that. But yeah, this particular one sounds more like something that my niece was in, and had nothing to do with beauty. It had to do with more teaching young women how to be more confident, how to have better speaking abilities in front of people, how to have good manners and good social skills, and how to deal with conflicts and things like that. So it's a different kind of pageant.
And so she got a ton of backlash, and I feel badly, again, that she felt that people were targeting her.
Yeah, they're targeting her because people like you are misinforming people on what the competition is, and they're getting upset thinking that she's going to be on, one of the big networks, this winter representing Alabama in Miss USA, which is not going to happen. And that's the issue. And do I feel that an obese person should be representing a state in Miss USA? Probably not, because I don't think they would ever get there anyways, because those competitions do judge fitness, and they do judge you in swimsuits, and they do judge your beauty. So there's really no concern about having someone like Miss Milliken getting into a competition like Miss USA. Everybody's safe. You don't have to worry about it.
To me, what she actually represents is that we have a society that is suffering from various ailments. One of them is that the number one killer in our society is clinical obesity. And one of the ailments that we're suffering from is chronic lying. You have a media and an entire ecosystem that supports the media and its lies. And right now they're trying to convince us that sickness is health.
And I believe that that is true. The people do gaslight people into thinking that obesity is healthy. But I also believe what she said is true as well, is that we do live in a society of lying, and we do live in a society of misinformation. And she is also part of that whole thing of misinformation. And it might not even be 100% her fault. I think that a lot of times people get wrapped up in things and just start talking, and she probably saw something online and was like, oh, I'm going to talk about this. And, she probably didn't dig into the actual details of what the pageant was about. But that's still her fault. She has a responsibility. When you have 1.5 million subscribers and you're talking about subjects such as that, where you're coming off as you're like this authority and you're this beacon of truth and and moral values and things like that, you have a responsibility to get your facts straight. I'm sorry, but if you don't get your facts straight, then you should be called out on it. And unfortunately, people like that can't handle being called out on certain things. But and they'll never apologize and they'll never retract anything, and but it is what it is.
Sara can compete in these pageants. She can. And what she should have to do is she should have to work hard like everybody else. She should try to get herself to become a role model and a picture of health. That's what she should do. She actually should say, I know that I am this size, but I can change this. I can get up every day. It can start with me just taking basic steps. And I know that I can lose weight and that maybe one day that is the goal. I want to be able to compete in a beauty pageant and to be able to share my story. Because that, by the way, is a relatable story.
And one day when and if she ever wants to compete in a beauty pageant, she can do all of those things. But she might not want to compete in a beauty pageant, and that's okay as well. She might just want to compete in a pageant that requires being a good person and requires doing community service and speaking well and helping children or serving the poor. Like, there's nothing wrong with that as well. You don't have to be the most beautiful person. You don't have to be thin and in shape to be an asset and a value to your community or to the world. So that's a bunch of horseshit.
And Sara has given a quotation, by the way. She said that she was a little traumatized after reading the comments. And so she has therefore limited her social media interactions as a result. And that makes me feel sad for her. It makes me feel sad for her because that shouldn't have to happen, because Sara should not have won this pageant in the first place.
And no, she doesn't feel sad for her. She doesn't feel sad for anybody. She got a thrill out of the whole thing. Seriously. She got a thrill out of it. It was something for her to discuss on her podcast or her YouTube channel or whatever platform she's on. And she got a thrill out of it. So no, she didn't feel sad for her. And I don't believe that for 1 second. And she did deserve to win if she met all the criteria of the particular pageant that she was in, and she was better than the other ladies in the categories that they set forth, then she does deserve to win. So sorry. She
does say that this has been a dream of hers, and now her dream has been recognized. It has been 8 years in the making. And when she found out that she won, it was a reaction of, quote unquote, pure shock. And we all know that there's a reason that she was purely shocked, because she knows deep down that she shouldn't have won this competition. Not on the basis of who she is on the inside. I'm sure she's a wonderful human being, but on the basis of what this pageant actually should stand for. When you say you are competing in this category, she should not have been standing on that stage, and she should not have been crowned. And again, I do not say that to attack her. I say that to attack the society of lies in which we are living in. The society of lies in which we are living in the society of lies in which she is a part of pushing. So, yeah, again, I don't disagree with everything that Candace Owens says, but I agree. I don't agree with how a lot of their, how do I say it? I don't agree with how they say things and how they make things seem so hyperbolic and just want everybody to be outraged about something. Well, there's no reason to be outraged about this because she's not going to be Miss Alabama. It's a different competition. And
that's what I just cannot stand about certain, social media influencers, this whole fake outrage BS. And, I just don't understand it. But maybe I'm too old for it. I don't know. I just don't get it. And hopefully you won't be seeing it on my channel. If there ever is any type of outrage moment on this channel, trust it will not be a fake outrage moment. It'll actually be a real outrage moment. Yeah, there won't ever be some fake hyperbolic BS crap, because I just cannot stand it. It just seems so disingenuous. Like sometimes when I see people like that, it just gets under my skin so much. They just seem so, I don't know, just fake. And I don't know. Even in real life, certain people like that just make my skin crawl. But anyway, lastly, I want to congratulate Sara on her win of Miss National American Alabama and wish her luck during nationals.